Hey DIYers and building enthusiasts in general. So I've done a lot to my garage in order to make it the most efficient garage I can for a little tiny garage. I've got a million things going out of it, and it ultimately is my workshop until I get big enough to, go get one. So one side I made a section to store all my hand tools and cases and some more intricate items, consumables, hazmat. This side, I need to do something with it. Very similar to what I did on the left side, we'll do to the right side, but it's gonna be for oblong, weird, doesn't fit anywhere well stuff, like my welder, my pressure washer, my chop saw, like items that are just big and bulky and have no good place in a small garage. We're gonna try and tackle that today. So this has already been done. It's actually on the other side of my garage, but it's a little bit more intricate over there. We're going to do a much more simple design here. Right now what we're doing is making the wall. And that's just 3/8 inch piece of plywood, 2 of those. And we're going to attach those to some 8-foot 2x3s. And that will make up the back wall. By itself, it's just held together with screws very loosely and is not very strong. But once we go to attach the rest of the frame, the plywood actually solidifies the entire frame. So it's a minimalist frame, it's pretty cheap, and it's going to do exactly what we need to do. The back wall is actually higher than the rest of the frame itself, and that gives us an additional shelf on top that we can squeeze stuff right behind the garage door as it opens and closes. I'm thinking maybe just one nice big shelf right across the middle. That way all these long, awkward things that really belong in a shop or in a shed, we can feasibly store in a garage. We cut a 3/8 inch piece of plywood in half and we mount each side with one of those pieces. Then we run a 8-foot 2x3 in the middle, and that's going to simulate right where we want the actual shelf to be. That's why we stuck all those tools there, to make sure we had clearance for all those things. After this is just repetition of putting in 2x3s or putting in plywood sheets. And it all just forms together to make one very simple but very effective storage unit. We repeat the type of box frame in the middle and in the top. And then we just solidify the box frame by cutting another 3/8 inch piece of plywood and sticking it in there and fastening that with a million screws. painted the other one, so I painted this one. Although I thought I got gray, it wasn't. It was aluminum colored wood paint. It just looks like wood that you try to make look aluminum. It's not the greatest look. But whatever. I just so happened to want to face frame this thing with aluminum angle, and so awkwardly and oddly it fits together, I guess. But it's whatever. I mean, I'm face framing this because I face framed everything else, and I made my top rack out of aluminum, so we're just trying to give it that edgy shop look. And now that I put that there, it just makes this area look even worse. And I just got this idea now. I have a few scrap pieces of stuff, and I want it fixed. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and try and duplicate a big, giant, large shelf again, all the way across this thing. And I'm going to stick other stuff right underneath that shelf. Then we're going to try and figure out some way to bootleg it to the side of the wall. And I will tell you, this wasn't like the best planned out. This was a spur of the moment. I have a few scrap pieces of wood left. I'm going to do this project. So with the proper planning, you could probably make something a lot better. But the basis still works, and this actually ends up working pretty well. I plan on putting a boat underneath this shelf. So the shelf has to be obscenely long, and I don't think the hardware store even has studs that are even as long as what I need it to be. So I'm trying to piece those all together with like aluminum brackets that I made from my scrap. And I do this throughout the rest of the project, and it turns out to be alright. We're just going to go ahead and piece and stick the 3/8 plywood on top of the 2x3s, which you really needed maybe a 2x6 for something that long of the span. So the 2x3s, they're going to sag unless I put something on there. I know this. So we'll figure that out also as we go on through this. I decided to run a scrap piece of 3/16 inch by, I think, 3 inch by flat bar, like aluminum flat bar. I needed another piece. So I got to go to the hardware store, to the metal shop, and just get another piece. And that will actually keep it from sagging. That's pretty strong. Like aluminum flat bar laid out like that vertically is very strong. It's strong enough to hold this stuff right now. And there's the boat. It's all, also, I have like half finished projects in my garage. It drives me nuts. This boat project's half done. It's supposed to be a little mini bass boat. That's what my other channel is, by the way. If you're wondering what TV Nation is, check it out. Here, this has obviously been in use for a little bit, and my garage is a little bit of a mess, but if I don't get this video out, then I don't know when I'm going to get it out. So this works pretty well. I was actually going to get rid of these because I just hated them. All they did was they weren't really good floater storages, which is what I bought them for. They end up making just really good terminal storage underneath this big part. This was supposed to be for some of my more awkward situations, but really I started using this for more awkward tools like this, for tools and random boxes that I needed to stow, and my vacuum cleaner. And I was going to make a dust collector and stick it somewhere in here too, but you know, I'll get to that when I get to that. Oops. So this is kind of a crap sandwich. We're not even gonna like pretend this was a great idea, but this was what worked for the moment. And if I was going to store anything heavier than these boards up here, I really would have to fix this. What's been delaying me is I just forgot about this until right now when I'm doing this video. But this was a super temporary solution. We were going to not fix this eventually. But I wouldn't recommend doing this. And you can see that the 2x3s, yes, they bowed. But where they didn't bow is this is completely straight. And I was going to go buy another piece of this and connect it here and join it here. And that would have kept it completely straight. It would have never bowed. But I didn't do that. So now it bowed. And so now, like, I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do out with that. I mean, this piece is easy enough just to replace because, you know, I just gotta take out the screws. So I'll figure that out. But right now, it just really does a good job, even though this was like pieced together and that piece was done really well. And the aluminum face frame looks pretty good. It matches this. Yeah, it does that, matches that pretty good. And then it matches that over there. and then my bait station. My, I don't know what you want to call this all, but this all like seamlessly. And then this was like the trifecta. This worked pretty good. This all works really good. I mean, I get a lot of stuff done here. I mean, this is my little project right now. I'm making a jumbo to kayak crossover project where I attempt to break the market and steal it away from kayaks out of my garage. Crackpot ideas. You gotta love them. This may be the most bootleg crap I've ever done, which I needed somewhere to store my motor and like my stupid trolling motors. Like I was running out of areas. I had like this bulky transom thing and I just got rid of it and attached it to this. And I don't know, that wasn't very stupid. I don't know. It's been working. It's been working. Like there's nowhere else to put it. Like my next plan is because like I'm having like pipe failures. You can see it up there, stupid pipe failures. And I have another video on that in this channel as well. But what I plan on doing is getting rid of all this crap and then redoing more storage. And behind all this is all the pipes and that I'll have to fix anyway. So eventually it's going to happen. Probably sooner than later. But I do love my setup. Next videos will be on this very, very super simple rod stowage that I have here. If you haven't caught that video, check for it. And then we're really going to be drawn down to a close. We might be adding one more thing here on the wall because the wall storage is rad. If you don't have wall storage in your garage, you're missing out.